Hi, I'm Clover from Oklahoma. Please like and subscribe. I was born to a busy doctor mom who spent most of her days treating patients and performing surgeries. She loved her work so much that when I was about to come into this world, she was busy delivering other babies and the nurses had to pull her out to deliver me first. She's so pretty, like a snowflake. I was born with blue eyes and white hair, unlike anyone in my entire family. And wherever we'd go, everyone would stare at me. What a unique kid. You should have her tested. Maybe she's an X-Men with mutant DNA. Oh, go away. Listening to such stupid people and seeing how Mom got scared for me every time, I decided to fix things on my own. I took some paint colors and decided to color my hair all brown. Oh, Clover, what are you doing, honey? I don't like strangers coming up to me all the time, Mom. I want to fix it myself so I can be normal like the others. Sweetie, you are normal, and you don't have to change anything about yourself for anyone. But they just keep bothering me. Then give them time. When people see something they're not used to, they get excited, but over time, they'll get over it. Trust me. To my delight, I discovered what Mom said was true. When I started school, at first, all the kids would stare at me, but then they all wanted to be my friend. By the time I was 14, guys would go crazy over me. And even though I secretly liked all the attention, I wanted to focus more on myself and my studies. So I worked my butt off and got into the best high school in Texas. But when I told Mom this, she shocked me with something even bigger. She was going to volunteer in a small village in South Africa and asked me to move in with my aunt who also lived in Texas. My aunt? How come I've never heard of her after all these years? That's because she ran away to marry a super rich guy and got in touch with me only recently. But why her, Mom? And how am I going to live without you? The place I'm going to is very remote with almost no communication with the outside world. That's why I want you to stay with family who can look after you when I'm not here. And you're all grown up, honey. There's a world out there you need to explore on your own. Mom hugged me tight, but I really wasn't excited about her leaving like this. Days after Mom left, I took a flight to my aunt's place. But when I reached the address Mom gave me, I got the shock of my life. My aunt wasn't rich. Instead, she lived in a very small house, and when I knocked on the house door, a pan came flying at my face. What, the flying pans? Oh, darling, I am so sorry. It's just this bratty daughter of mine. She keeps throwing nasty fits. You, come on in. She took me inside, and I could see this house hadn't been cleaned in ages. Yikes. It's just a pet. Don't freak out, princess. Freak out? I wanted to run from this place, especially because I had to share a room with nasty Nia, and she was the most unhygienic of all. So, what's with the white hair? Does it get you the boys, or do you have one of those real conditions like they show in MSA videos? You watch MSA? Yeah, and that's how I know I'm the main character. Now take the couch and don't fart all night. Ew. She was sick. But there was nowhere else I could go now, so I decided to make this place my home. And these people, my family, like Mom had asked me. The next morning, before Aunt and Nia woke up, I cleaned the entire place to give them a surprise. But when I returned from school, the house was all upside down again. You guys, I worked all night to clean this place. Well, who asked you to do it? And anyway, I couldn't find any of my stuff with everything so tidy, so I messed it all back up. Ugh. This girl was such a nuisance. I almost wanted to call Mom and tell her to come back, but that's when I learned that Mom got stuck because a serious illness broke out in the area where she was working, and the government in that state announced an emergency and sealed it. So when's Mom gonna come back? And is she okay? Yeah, she's safe, but I have no idea when she'll be back. Now tell me, did you clean the house all by yourself? Your mom told me you can cook too, and did she give you any money? And even though my heart kept sinking thinking about Mom, my aunt would keep me busy with the house chores, and just like that, I became a live-in maid for these people. And Nia and I became like siblings who quarreled all the time. What did you do with my boots? I sold them for $40 at school. Profit, you see. Only you ain't smart. They cost more than $400. Oh, you're so stupid. She'd even have wild parties at home just before my tests to annoy me. And my aunt would sleep peacefully on the couch, like a deaf bear in hibernation. God knows how she managed to run the house without money. She didn't give me any allowance, and I decided it was time to make my own money. So I took up a job at a local salon, but then one evening, while I was on my way back home, rain started pouring, and I started to run, but just then, a car came and stopped right in front of me. Camilla, get in. I kept ignoring him because that wasn't my name, but the guy kept following me in his car and then stepped out. I turned around to hit him, but he held my hand firmly. Hey, chill. Look, I'm not gonna force you to come back with me, but just listen to me once, okay? He let go of my hand and kept talking to me like I was someone else. Look, sir, I think you're mistaken. I'm not Camilla. It can't be. You both look so similar. God, is that your real hair? He then apologized to me and went away.
Be your own boss. Boss. Alive. The new parfum.
Drömmer du om nya reseupplevelser? Med Momondo kan du nu se om flygpriserna ser ut att falla eller stiga så att du enkelt kan boka när tiden är rätt. Momondo. Stay curious.
But only after a few seconds, he came back running. What now? I can at least drop you at home. It's terrible weather and I'd like to apologize for my misunderstanding. He seemed like a nice guy and because of the rain, I decided to take the lift. But on our way home, he showed me pictures of this girl who looked just like me. What's this? Did you Photoshop these? And then he told me something shocking. This girl was a model, but she ran away and ever since then, he's been searching for her. But I'm not her. I know. That's why I want your help. Until I find her, do you think you can work in her place? And I'll pay you a lot too. Me? I can hardly walk properly in slippers. I'm no model. But I can teach you. Look, I don't want to force you, but I took advance payments and Camilla ran away with all the money. Now, if you won't do the shows, I'll have to refund triple the amount and I'll go broke. I felt bad for him, but I had school and even mom wasn't around, so I politely refused. But then a few days later when I woke up, I saw all the stuff was put out in the garden for an auction sale. Nia, what the heck are you doing with all my stuff? Making more money out of it. Your mom's gone and we have no idea when she's coming back. You can't just stay with us for free. So, who wants this shawl? Hey, that's my mom's, give it to me. We both pulled it apart and went flying in different directions with the shawl ripping into pieces. I felt terrible seeing this and just wanted to move out now. So I called up James, the guy in the car, and took his offer on one condition, that he'd let me continue with school, and he agreed. He took me to the modeling agency dressed as Camilla, and later that night when I was in bed, I heard a knock on my window. James, what are you doing here? I'm grateful that you agreed to do this, Clover. So, I bought you this. I stuffed my mouth knowing I had to go on a diet from the next day. But from then onwards, James would sneak into my room every night and teach me how to act like Camilla along with how to pose and walk like a model. He'd even pick me up and drop me back at school. And we'd have so much fun together that it felt like I had a new best friend that I could trust. Then on the day of my first ramp show, I was getting dressed in the green room when I heard a familiar voice. I went out to check and saw Nia was yelling at James. If you don't pay me the rest of the money now, I'm gonna tell her the truth. Here, take this for now. I'll pay you the rest later. James went off, but I couldn't help thinking what all this was about. Nia, what are you doing here? And what's this money for?
Why should I tell you, smarty princess? Did Mama teach you to be street smart and not get used?
Get used? What do you mean?
He paid me to make things difficult for you at home after he met you, so you'd take his offer. He followed you that night and knew you lived in my house, so we talked.
You're lying.
Of course, that's what you'll think because you've always thought of yourself as someone superior to me, and as a fool because I lived in poverty.
There was no way she was right about this. So I immediately went to James and confronted him about this. I'm sorry, Clover, but I just wanted you to take the offer desperately, and I couldn't think of anything else. But why? Why would you do that? I don't want to gain sympathy, Clover, but the truth is, I have a chronic disease and I need lots of money for the treatment. Here, you can see my medical records. Oh, James, I'm sorry to hear this, but I'm not yet sure if this justifies what you did, man. I know. I just wanted to save my life, Clover. I know it was wrong, and I couldn't live with myself knowing I had tricked you into this, but I'm glad the truth came out. And it's okay if you leave, but I'm not leaving. What? Look, I don't want you to think of me as some charity case. No, it's not charity. What you did was wrong, but ever since, you've just been nice to me, and I want to help you, James. He hugged me tight, and then I rushed to the stage because I was already late for the show. But the minute I got onto the stage, I realized there was something wrong with my dress. Thankfully, the model right behind me saw this and helped me cover it. And the show was a super hit. James took me out to celebrate, and he looked so happy. God, you were breathtaking today. and so many people wanted to sign you for more modeling jobs, but I refused since you have school. What? No, you should have taken the offers. But Clover, I don't want you to compromise on something you love. Besides, I told you it'd only be a few shows and then you can go back to your previous life. But what if I don't wanna? I love doing what I do right now, and this isn't for anyone else but me. So you should take the offers, James. That brought the brightest smile on his face, and from then onward, I started working harder. I did 2 more shows for big brands, but then one day, something bizarre happened. As I walked out of the changing space, I got the shock of my life. Camilla? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? I saw you on the TV and magazines pretending to be me. Why the heck would you do that? 'Cause you ran away with James's money and he needed help. That's a pathetic lie. I ran because James is the biggest jerk on the planet. He used cheap tricks to get me into the spotlight, like messing with my wardrobe, and then wanted to make me do cheap shows for good money that he could make. What are you saying? Tell me none of that has ever happened to you, and he didn't use some cheap tricks to gain your sympathy. He's a big liar and crazy about money. He tricked me into signing some bad modeling projects, and when I refused to do them, he threatened me legally. That's why I ran away. All of a sudden, the ground beneath my feet shifted, and I felt devastated. But I knew I couldn't be weak now, and I had to come up with a plan to teach this jerk a lesson. There was one person I knew who could help me come up with an evil scheme, but she wasn't gonna do it for free. So, now the smarty pants princess needs my help. Yeah, the jerk didn't pay me the amount we agreed on. Can you imagine someone conning Nia, the queen of conning? And yeah, I'll help you, and I expect payment. So I want every penny you have saved up, and I want a foot massage. Fine, as long as you take a bath for once. We came up with a plan, and then a few days later, James came up to me with a bunch of documents. Just like you said, I took on those projects, and now we just need to sign the papers. Oh, that's amazing! Did you sign them already? Yeah, I did. Perfect. Now let's put this on and let's get you on the ramp. Camilla, what nonsense. It's the same thing you've been doing to the other models all this time. Now it's your turn. What do you mean? These papers that you signed say that you owe us 2 times the money that you earned from all these projects, and if you fail to pay, you'll go to jail. What? How's this possible? These papers… I changed them. I broke into your office while Clover distracted you and changed these. Easy peasy. And I paid her to do that. I'm sorry, but I was desperate too. He tried to run away, but Camilla had called the cops in time and he got caught. As he was being taken away, Nia turned to us. Now, try to be a little more careful next time, both of you idiots. You're right. Thanks for your help, Nia. And Clover, I want the money you promised to give me. Also, I have something to tell you, but no drama or I'll slap you. My mom called and said your mom is back and with my mom now.